Good morning. When I was 15 years old, almost 16, I was going between my sophomore year and my junior year in high school. My goal in life was to play basketball. That's all I wanted to do. I played basketball all the time. I got up in the morning, I played basketball in the evening, I played basketball on team. My sophomore year, I'd been on the junior varsity, which is what everyone did. If you were underclassmen, you played JV, and our JV team was pretty good. And then you would move up to the varsity the next year. And I was really looking forward to it. It was my life. Our basketball coach came to me because he was also the football coach there. And he said, "Chris, I think you should go out for football." Now, football was something I didn't want to play. Football was something I didn't want to have anything to do with, basically because I was afraid I was going to get hurt. If I played football, my knee was going to blow out. I couldn't play basketball anymore. My dream would be over. It would be awful. But the coach stayed with me, and he kept talking to me through that off season. And I had to decide whether I would play football or not. I wasn't very big. I couldn't imagine that I could do much. And he sat down with me, and he said, "Chris, we need you this year. You can make a difference for us." Whether it was true or not, it got me thinking a little bit. But still, I was afraid of getting hurt. I decided to go ahead and play football. My first football game I played in high school, I started at quarterback. And we had a pretty good team that year. But the amazing thing was, what I thought was going to be a dangerous decision ended up being a decision about how my life would turn out. Because I look back over my high school days now, and the things that stand out to me, and it's been, 40 years ago now? The things that I still remember are on the football field, or in the locker room, or things that happened with the football team. That was the major impact of my entire high school, was what happened in football. Basketball, we were pretty good. Never made it to state, made it to area a couple of times. But it never really impacted me. And I realized something. The decision that I made to play football, which I thought was a dangerous decision, ended up being a decision about my life. And about what I would experience, about what I would have. It really made my life better. We're starting a new series today called Dangerous Prayers. Dangerous Prayers is about things that will connect us closer to God. But they're dangerous because, well, if we totally give in to God, what's going to happen? I mean, are we going to become holy idiots? What are we going to do? We have to dress a certain way, do a certain thing. What about this? But as I looked at the topic this week, I realized it really isn't about dangerous prayers. It's about prayers of decision. About how our life is really supposed to look. God sent Jesus into the world, and Jesus said this, "I have come that you might have life, a rich, abundant life." See, I think that's the most important verse in the entire New Testament. Why did Jesus come? He came to give us life. He came to give us the best life for us. He created us. He knew what was inside of us. He knew what he put there. And he said, "This is the direction I want your life to go." And so as we think about this morning, this topic, I want you to consider what we're talking about may sound a little bit dangerous, but really it's about how you're going to live your life and how you're going to feel in 5 years or 10 years. About what you've experienced, whether you followed God or whether you didn't. This morning we're going to talk about something that David wrote. David was the second king of Israel. In the Old Covenant, the Hebrew Bible, they talk about David and they say David was a man after God's own heart. Now what does that mean? It means he, inside of him at times, thought like God, felt like God, and did what God would do. Now, David had all sorts of sin. You probably are aware of that, all sorts of things that could bring him down. But this one thing is true. He had a heart like God's. And so he writes this prayer in Psalms to God. And he says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Search me. Y'all ever been searched? If you've been on an airplane, you've been searched, okay? But if you've never been searched, I remember my first time. I was 7th grade. I had gone to the drugstore. A friend and I had gotten a Coke, and we were standing around talking, waiting for our parents to come and pick us up in Carmen, Oklahoma. And we're just laughing and having a good time. And suddenly the guy comes from out behind the counter, the owner of the store, and he grabs me. I'm going, what in the world? He pulls my hands out of my pocket, and he reaches into my pockets, and he feels around. I don't know why he did that. There was absolutely nothing in my pockets, which is usually the truth. And I was stunned, and he went, oh, and he went off. Now, if that happened today, we'd sue him. I would own the drugstore in Carmen today because he attacked me. But he was looking for something. He thought I had stolen something and put it in there. He thought there was something that I had hidden that he needed to bring out. That's what they do at the airports. They search you. There's something you might have hidden that might be trying to bring the plane down. Or at least I assume that's what they're trying to do. But when you search someone, that's what it's about. You're saying, let's find out what's really in there, what you're really hiding. You can't really know what's inside of someone, can you? I mean, you can see their outward activities, and you can judge those activities and say, well, those were good, and they did a good thing there. But you can't really judge what's on the inside. Now, that's an amazing thing. I watch the news from time to time, and I notice that no matter who it is, they're judging on what's inside the person. And the truth is, they have no idea. I have no idea. They're just making stuff up. But if we can find out what's on the inside, life gets better. David says to God, search me and know what's inside of me. Now think about this for a minute. Was he saying, God, I've been hiding things from you. You can't see them, so I give you permission to look into my life and come up with what's really there. I mean, it's like the Jeopardy final answer. You don't know what it's going to be until they reveal it. That's the way God is, I guess. He looks at us and he says, I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't really know what's on the inside of them. And when he finds out, he goes, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about this? No, God made you. God knows you. He knows you inside and out. He knows everything that you think, everything that you do. He knows you. It's not God searching so that he will know, because he already knows. We're asking God to search and reveal to us. Reveal to you and to me what's really inside us. Because see, we can fool ourselves. We can think that everything we do is righteous and holy and wonderful. And on the outside it may be. But a lot of times we do the right thing for the wrong reason. At least I do. I don't know if you all do, but I do. I do right things for the wrong reason. And we just want people to see us and understand we're good because we did the right thing. But David said, I want to go beyond that. I want you to look into me and find out what I'm hiding. What I'm hiding from myself. So that I will be like Jesus. And so that I can move forward. There was a young man, played quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Had won a national championship, had gone through a second season undefeated. And then he reached the championship game. And in that game, he wasn't very successful. At halftime, they were down. It looked like they were out of the game. But the coach made a decision. This guy's undefeated, never lost a game. And he puts in the second-team quarterback. Second-team quarterback brings them back, and they win the national championship. But now everything is changed. This young man who was to be the quarterback for at least 2 more years suddenly was put on the back burner. This second-team quarterback is coming in, and now he is the big dog. And when they go into the next season, he's going to be number 1. Well, what will this quarterback do? Everybody said, well, he'll transfer. He's got 2 years left. He'll transfer someplace else and play at a team that's really good. Maybe he can win a national championship there. And so all the offseason they talked about him, talked about what his heart was. But then he came back the next season, this season. He wasn't the starting quarterback. He was the second-team quarterback. And he played a little wide receiver, and he played a little bit backup quarterback, but his year was not much. And then the SEC championship game came this year. And once again, Alabama, his team, got behind. It looked like they were defeated. It looked like they couldn't catch up. The other quarterback was totally ineffective. And so they took the second-team quarterback, who used to be the first-team quarterback, and put him into the game. And it was amazing. He led his team to victory, scored 2 or 3 times, came back, and won the game for his team. But what I want you to consider is his heart. See, everybody said, well, he will leave and go someplace where he can play and be more. But his heart told him to stay. And he did stay, and because he stayed, his team is playing in the national championship playoffs next week. You can't really tell what's on the inside unless you search. David says, God, I want you to search me. I want you to know me. Carter and I have been married about 36 years now. One thing that I have come to understand in our years of marriage is I know her heart. We used to argue about this, argue about that. You're trying to hurt me. You're trying to do this. And I used to do that a lot. But then I finally realized after 35 years, she has never done anything to betray me. She has never done anything intentionally to hurt me. She has always thought about me and always tried to do what was best for me. I know her heart. It's made a huge difference in our relationship because I know that I don't have to worry about her going someplace else, doing something else. She is for me. That's the thing. If God can know our heart, and if we can know our heart, and we can get everything going in the right direction, it can really change our lives. He says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Your anxious thoughts. What are your anxious thoughts about? They're your fears. The things that you're afraid of. I mean, when I was in high school, I was afraid of getting hurt in football. I didn't want to play football. That was one thing that kind of almost intimidated me out of something that really was a wonderful thing for me. The same thing happens to us. We get afraid of things. We live by fear. You know, there are other things that motivate us, but I'm going to be honest with you. Fear is the thing that motivates us more than anything else. Guys, let me talk to you for a minute. We all want to succeed, don't we? I mean, it's in our nature. We want to succeed. We want to be a success. We want to go forward. And we don't really feel like we have been. Something has always drug us down. Something has always kept us from it. Somebody has kept us from it. But man, we're really trying to succeed, so we work hard. We'll put in long hours. We'll do all sorts of crazy things because we're trying to succeed. But it's driven by fear. What if we're really not that good? What if we really can't do it? I've got to do it. We moved to a town, and it was a church of 100, 150. We moved there, and as we were there, we began to make some changes and do some things. The church grew. It went from 150 over 10 or 12 years to about 500 on a weekly basis. We worked hard. We did things behind the scene and all that. And I thought, well, I'm just serving God. But deep down beneath it was my fear. Maybe I'm really not that good. I've got to work really hard. And if I work really hard, people will see it. And then when they see it, they will go, oh, he's so successful because he works so hard. An amazing thing happens in our world, though. It doesn't matter how hard you work. Nobody ever sees it. Nobody ever gives you credit for it. And so you just keep in this fear cycle, trying to move forward, trying to be what you can be because of fear. Fear really paralyzes us and takes us in a direction that's really not good for us. So David says to God, show me my fear. Show me what's inside of me. Help me to understand what it is that I'm doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Because if I'm doing it for the wrong reason, it may be benefiting people out there, but it does nothing for me. He says, point out anything that separates me from you. Show me anything that offends you, is another translation of this verse. Offends you. A couple of days a week, I teach at Cameron University. I have a couple of classes. And every class, 20, 24 students, you start out the first day and you say, listen, it's going to be a great year. If you hang in here with me, if you come to class, if you work with me and do what I ask you to do, you're going to do well. You're going to make an A or B. I'm not going to give it to you. You're going to make an A or B. Now, if you don't, if you decide you don't want to come to class, if you decide you don't need this, or you want to do something else, there's nothing I can do. If you don't do the work, you get flunked. It's not me, it's the school. Nothing I can do about it. And you would think, as a professor, well, you've laid down the law, and it's all about either you do it or you don't do it. But see, here's the thing. I care about every student that comes in. 24 students. I want every one of them to succeed. I'm going to do everything I can to help them succeed, and yet some of them won't. Some of them won't give the effort, and that offends me. Now, I'm not offended and saying, oh, you horrible person. I'm saying, you missed what was available for you. Follow. Let me lead you there. And see, that's the way God is. God is not offended because we're bad. God is not offended because we do things that are wrong. God is offended because He created you. He has a plan for your life. He has a good plan for your life. A plan that's the best life you can possibly live. Not the richest life, not the most successful by the world standard, but a life where you get up every day, you enjoy it, and you go forward, and you just have a great time in life. And He says, follow me. But we don't. And when we don't, any choice that we make leads us away from Him. Any choice that we make that doesn't follow God leads us to destruction. I mean, think about it. Think about your own life for just a minute. Be real honest with yourself right now. Have your choices led you to something good? I never have. My choices have always led me into trouble, or led me into conflict, or led me into disaster. And I'm slowly learning, if I follow God, I don't have that. It isn't that my life, everything is okay. But if I follow God, I'm heading the direction God created me for, and I'm happy. And yet we don't do it. Most of the world says, no, I'm going to live life on my own terms. I don't need none of that stuff. I'm going to go my own way. And every time we go our own way, it's going to end in disaster. Every stinking time. He finally says, lead me in your way. God says, listen, I want to lead you. I want you to follow me. Suppose you're out in the woods. You've gone out for a nice day, and you're out in the woods, and you wander a little ways, and after a while, you don't know where you are. You don't know how to get back. You're not too scared, but you begin to look around, and after another hour or so, you're deeper in the woods, and you don't know how to get out. Starting to have a little panic. And you hear footsteps. And then you see someone come out into the clearing, and it's a park ranger. He's got on his hat, he's got on his badge. He comes up and he says, are you lost? No, not lost, just out having a good day. No, we're at the point now where we need some help. And he says, well, follow me. Now, the question is, will you follow him? Because if you follow him, he's going to take you where he wants you to go. I don't need that. I got my own self. I can do whatever I want to do. No, you're probably going to follow him. The other day I was pulling down Rogers, going across the interstate out there. And as we got up to the stoplight, a lady pulled up next to me and asked me to roll down my window. I did. She says, how do I get on the interstate here? You used to turn left right up here, but I see that's taken off. How do you get off? get on. I said, well, okay, it's okay. I said, you just get in the right lane, follow it, and then it'll turn right, and it'll take you right where you want to go. She said, right lane? I said, yeah, right lane right there. She pulled up, the light turned green, we moved forward, and I'm pointing over there and honking at her and saying, right there. And she sees it, and she moves away. Now, why in the world did she listen to me? Well, she didn't know. So she asked me, and I knew. And so she followed what I asked her to do. God says, I've got a life for you. It's not about a dangerous life, but it's a life for you. Follow me. And you may be saying, well, where's God in my life right now? I got some real problems. Maybe I'm having the loss of a loved one, or a separation, or maybe my kids are acting up, or maybe my job's going horrible, or maybe 100 different reasons. And you're thinking, well, where's God in all of that? Let me share with you that God never said that life would be easy. You live in a broken world. Did you know it? Everything, every business, everything around you is broken. There are going to be times when that's going to affect you. And God does not take that away. But he does say this, take my hand, I'll walk with you through it. We'll get to the other side of it. And I promise you that if you follow me, it's going to be better for you. Your life is going to turn out better, because my job is to lead you. But do we let him? And why don't we? It's because we're afraid it's too dangerous. He might lead us to do this, or he might lead us to do that. Probably. Except for the fact that God says, I know what's absolutely best for you. Will you follow me? So that's something we have to consider. What will we do? Will we ask God to search us? God, search me and show me the areas of my life where I'm headed in the wrong direction. Help me to understand it so that I'm not hiding from it anymore. Show me what I'm anxious about. Show me what I fear. I don't want to live by fear. I want to live by faith. I want to go forward. I don't want to go backward. Help me to know you. Help me to follow you. So the question is, what will we do? As we begin this series, what will we do? Will we follow God? Let's pray. Father, thank you for today and for your truth. And Lord, I pray that today you've spoken in a way that people can understand, and that people can begin to deal with the fact that you want what is best for them if they'll just follow you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. This week, here's your assignment. Your assignment is to get along with God and talk with him. And if you're brave enough, say, God, search me. Show me what's inside me. Help me to understand it. Help me to understand my fears and the things that get me going in the wrong direction. And help me begin, step by step, little by little, to follow you this week. If you will do that, some amazing things are going to happen. Up to you. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.